You can download the Best of Mike and Mike podcast. That's available every single day on ESPNradio.com. All right, to sort of put a ribbon on this conversation for the day about young players, young people in general, allowing themselves to be coached. And this doesn't have to be limited just to sports. We'll use the term coached because it doesn't even have to be limited to parented, but taught in any way that you might be trying to make young people better. The one mistake I keep seeing people saying, whether you agree with Golick's side of this argument or mine, is, well, these young people need to learn these lessons in order to live in our world, in order to live in the real world. Well, guess what? Their world is the real world. Our world is the one that's going away, right? Young people are the ones who are going to be the next us. So that is the perspective they're going to take. I remember when I was a kid, you and I, one of the ways that you might express yourself a little bit differently that was somewhat controversial might be to get an earring, right? My father couldn't imagine a man wearing an earring. He thought that was crazy. Now a man wearing an earring is extremely commonplace. Right. Tattoos sort of came into a different thing. Your kids have tattoos.
My kids have tattoos.
When I was a kid, I never would have imagined getting a tattoo.
Never would have dreamed
and
of
if you did, I would have had a preconceived notion of you for having a tattoo.
I think
now that's not the case.
I think one of the biggest differences of what we talked about these millennials of wanting to know why for everything, that means asking questions.
Yeah.
My dad's famous line to us, and this was a line when you're growing up, when you're going to learn something, is keep your mouth shut and your ears and your eyes open. That means don't speak. Don't ask, just listen and watch and learn. That was the way. It wasn't to ask questions. It wasn't to do all that. It was watch what other people are doing. That's some of the advice he gave me when I went to the NFL. Mm-hmm. Keep your mouth shut. Watch the veterans. Learn from them. You know, now we have guys coming in St. Louis, specialists coming in to tell the coaches and everybody you have to ask, let them ask. They're going to ask questions. You have to answer the questions. That's a huge difference of the way I was raised, without a doubt.
And the point I'm trying to make here is not whether one way is right or wrong. It's sort of like saying, well, I don't like social media. Well, tough.
Yeah, it's here.
Social media is not going away. So you can either get on board or you're going to get run over by the train. There's no third option. So this idea, I might agree with you that the better way is to keep your mouth shut and your eyes and your ears open. I might agree with you that because I said so is sometimes a reasonable answer. But that doesn't matter what I think. If they don't agree with that, then you're not getting through to them. And if your job is to get through to them, your job is not just to make them do what you want them to do. Your job is to instruct them. Your job is to make them better. Your job is to make a team. If you deal with them on a level that they respect and they understand, you're going to be more successful and you're going to accomplish what you're trying to. So this idea that they need to change that, they're not changing that.
Yeah.
That's not changing.
I agree with you to a point. You don't change everything just to make the 25-year-old happy, though. You don't change it all. You don't do everything his or her way just so now I can get through to him. You don't change your whole sense of what you were just for them.
Well, then how do you utilize them to the most effective way? Like anything else,
you mix them both. There's some good to the way we were brought up, and there's some good to how it is now, to ask questions, to be informed. I see it. So why can't the two you find that water level? It doesn't have to be everything I ever learned and how I learned it is thrown out, and now a 25-year-old can ask me why 1,000 times, and I have to sit there and answer it 1,000 times, or I'm not treating him or her correctly. There can be a mixture. There can be both ways. They can have some their way, and they can understand there's other ways that are effective as well. That's what I'm saying.
But my point is they don't know that their way isn't the only way.
Well, you
know it. They don't.
But it still doesn't mean you're still saying give in to them and just go their way.
Give in is not the way I would phrase it.
You can bring your way into it as well and make it part of the overall teaching and or parenting experience.
Correct. But what you have to do is make them understand why you're doing that. Because if you don't, I believe that you are not going to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. There was a time when if you said to your father, why am I doing this? And he said to you, because I said so. Well, maybe take your father out of it. That's a bad example because you'd like to think over a course of time you've developed a relationship with your own children. But if you're a leader in some other way, let's just say someone that we work for here or someone that everyone else, whoever it is you work for, if you say to them, hey, Bill, hey, Susan, why are we doing it this way? And they say to you, because I said so. Now just shut up and do it. It just doesn't work anymore. People are they're not going to respect you.
As I just said, I agree. You're taking it to one side. That specifically just doing it that way doesn't work. Melding them works. And just as I say, not completely to the 25-year-old side of acquiescing everything to them and the way they want to, coach me this way, coach, parent me this way. No. That's not how it works, okay?
Yeah.
So there has to be a mixture of the two. Understanding today's youth, but also understanding that the way you brought up, there was some value in that as well, and finding a happy medium for both.
Right. I don't think we're saying different things. Yeah. I think I'm saying the same thing you are. I'm just saying you can instruct them in the same way you were instructed. But you have to take the extra step of explaining to them why. You know what I mean?
To a point, yes.
Yeah, because to a point. I said so. And trust me, because when I said this last week and you did it, it worked. And when I said this last time, because I've been doing this for 25 years and you don't know what you're talking about, that in and of itself is an explanation. Mm-hmm. And I think that will work. One way or another, it's a good conversation, and it's one that extends, obviously, well beyond the world of sports. We're out of time. I could do this for another 4 hours. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Enjoy the day, and try not to send any inappropriate texts.
Be careful hitting send. No faux pas. No FOPAs.
And Golic, love you. See you tomorrow.
God.
Mike and Mike.
ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio.
With the action on the court, the diamond, or the gridiron.
Comes alive.
The NBA.
The Golden State Warriors, NBA champions.
Major League Baseball.
San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
A new college football playoff.
College football playoff national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
You're home for the best in sports play-by-play.
ESPN Radio.
And now, for Geico's edition of Stuff Found in Your Car, we go inside your side door pocket.
Hello, yes, the crumpled receipt with gum in it. From your anniversary dinner, you sprang for expensive wine, your server was Beth. That dinner was a couple $100. Money you could get back if you switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. I bet you'd save that receipt. Frame it even. But really, where did I go wrong? Was it the corkage fee?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.
The last time the Yankees and Mets both reached the postseason was 2006. The hunt for October is heating up in the Big Apple. The Yankees and Mets, Friday at 6:30 Eastern, Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.